grab your popcorn, kick back and relax, because it's time for some more Karnage. So I'm going to try to get through this video as quick as I can, because this is now like the 5th time that I've tried to record this, and my recording setup is giving me the shits. So I've got some really crazy attacks to show you guys. Hopefully my recording setup doesn't bomb again, because it's getting really annoying. But this is 6 ice, 1 boosted. So I'll show you guys the statues real quick. So this guy has a flamethrower, because there's a flamethrower health tribe right now. And it took a lot of GBE for me to take this out unboosted, because I have 3 GBE statues, 1 troop health, 1 troop damage. Now I'm going to be trying my utmost not to try to bump anything, any cables or anything, because I don't want my recording to sort of have a heart attack. Because I'm using Android and there's something called HDCP protection, it's just causing me gigantic pains. So, going to smoke as late as I possibly can to try to save some GBE on the walk for smokes. Spacing my smokes out as much as I possibly can without losing any Zookas. Delaying the smokes so my Zookas have a chance to catch up. That one was actually quite dangerous. Dropping the smoke closer to the HQ first, so that my heavies will peak before anything else. Flaring back to get some separation. Flaring the HQ. Battle orders only had enough GBE for 1 shock. Unfortunately, it would have been better if I had some GBE for some critters to distract that. I also panicked at the last second because I seen the shock launcher behind the HQ and realized most of my tanks were in the dead spot. So it was going to like target a lot of Zookas and I couldn't have that, so I wind up shocking that, which took most of the GBE I had. But anyway, that was the first base. This is the second one, still unboosted here, 3 GBE, 1 troop health, 1 troop damage. So I will be taking out these mines because I'm going to be walking up. The kill spot will be next to this flamethrower and machine gun. And then I'll flare the HQ and shock that. And pretty much everything else should target my heavies at that point. The ice statues. Here we go. 5, 6. So that's 6 ice, 2 boosted. So nothing punishing me on the walk. You can see that rocket launcher is just out of range. That's a bad mistake on his part. You'll see bases in the higher ice VP range that won't make that mistake. They will make me spend a lot more GBE to make that walk. But I failed so hard on the flare. I should have put it just on the left tile above the mortar here. This mortar. And I think that would have avoided that spread. But, you know, it is what it is. This is the problem with me attacking with hookah. Sometimes I fail like this and it costs me gold. And I 1 smoke landed. This is not like me. Usually I will double smoke land, but I think I tried this hit before with a double smoke landing and then I had no GBE for shocking. So that's why I only did a 1 smoke landing. And enough GBE for 1 shock. I did get some of my heavies on the way out. Battle orders, like, of course. And boom. So it went down. The float Sam exploding there. And a nice, glorious bowl of fire. Or ball of fire. So that was 6 ice, 2 boosted. Thus far, very lucky, no shields. But this is the next base. So I wind up failing this, as you can see. Unsuccessful attack. I'm going to show you my unsuccessful attempt, just so you guys can appreciate how good of a hit this was, because when my next attack that I'm showing is on the same base, it's my successful attempt. I boosted 1 troop damage in the end, I wind up doing. This one is completely unboosted though. 3 GBE, 1 troop health, 1 troop damage. So this rocket launcher borderlines on the range for my troops. If I had have put the landing craft, 1 more landing craft space to the left, that rocket launcher would have started firing, but from this spot I was able to deploy without being hit. Now this one I'm going to have to smoke as I'm walking up, which is why I dropped that one. So this guy is ridiculous. This guy had a good layout. Look at that. All hidden mines. I tried doing so many different flare paths on this base, and I could not get past without hitting mines. I just could not. So I wind up losing, I think, like a landing craft and a half worth of Zookas here to those mines. I think, from memory, it was about that. Maybe even a little bit more, but it was a good chunk anyway. So I shock, real, and critter. My critters I put there because I was hoping to sort of get them, my heavy, surviving a lot longer. This shock launcher, as you can see, most of my tank units are actually out of range. My Zookas are closer, so it naturally tries to target my Zookas. So at the moment we had Tiny Shock as the temporary gunboat ability, so I had to drop those two on the Shock Blaster and the Shock Launcher, just for that reason, keeping them immobilized. Lucky for me, boom cannons were stupid in this attack and didn't go after the correct heavies, so my Zookas stayed safe for so much longer than they really should have. The shield on this, I believe, had like 1.3 million, it was like just under 1.4. I believe, from memory, I think the total like health overall with the shields, because there was 2 shields, as you guys probably seen, as well as like all the ice, I think it was 1.8, like very close to 1.9, I think. Maybe even a little bit over 1.9. But I will show you guys the statues in the next hit. So that was 1.5 mil roughly, I think. Maybe a little bit under that I wind up doing to that. But I tried so many times. I had no GBE left. And I wind up boosting my troop damage because I realized even if I press find a new player and get a new guy, I already did 2 pretty good attacks on 2 good ice bases, and I thought, well, if I boost this would be probably the craziest hookah shot, like hit that I've ever done on my channel thus far. So, I thought, you know what? Let's just make a video of it. So I boosted the troop damage masterpiece, nothing else. So at this point, I've got 1 boosted troop damage masterpiece, 1 unboosted, 32% for my troop health, and then 3 unboosted GBE like 1 masterpiece, 2 guardians. So it's pretty much the same base, trying to do the same hit as the last one I showed, but you'll see like it doesn't quite work out that way. So I'm showing the ice on screen right now, so you guys can sort of add them up if you guys want. Oh, that's a glitch. I didn't know that was a thing. Apparently invisible landing crafts, if you press there you can still see landing craft even though they're not there. Didn't know that. Anyway, I'm trying to copy this attack. Still out of range of this this rocket. I believe I tried to hit before and it actually, I lost the delay on it, which is why I said in before, like, you know, it wasn't going to work if I put the landing crafts a little bit more to the left. So trying to copy this attack, so I took out the mines above here, just so I'd try not to lose as many Zookas this time. I tried to put the flare a little bit higher so I wouldn't lose too much. There is a mine there which I probably will lose if I flare late. I didn't. So thus far I've done a pretty good job. I've got most of my Zookas up there pretty safe. So at this point I thought I've got it, like that's it. But the spread was like a little different than what I was expecting, and it didn't quite go the same. So you can see like I shocked some of my troops here, and everything is dying so quick. Like what? It was not the same even close. So I wind up using my tiny shock ability to get that. And I wind up having to do this because I lost most of my tanks and I didn't want my Zookas to die. And at this point I was panicking really bad because I didn't want Bullet to die, but you can see how quick his health just went from full to like nothing. So I thought I was going to lose this. And look at this. Oh man, almost all of my Zookas died. And it went down just. I had enough GBE for 1 artillery at this point. And I was so stoked I got it. because this was the last of my gold. I could not attack it after this. Like, I only had one attempt when I was boosted to get it, and I got it. And I was so proud of myself, because with the amount of ice that this guy had, he had two shield generators, 2 of them. And I was like, to get this with Hookah, even with 5 offense and 1 boost, I was so proud of myself, because I was like, to me, that means, at least with some strategies, at some point, like, that shows that I have the skill to be on the leaderboards, or at least tack some of the bases on that leaderboard anyway. And I was like, I'd fail with like some troop combos, but at least I've gotten so much better with Hookah over the years that I could actually produce an attack like this. So it looks like my recording has not failed. No idea why it was failing before. I was getting all sorts of problems between my software not sort of going in a state of lag where it wouldn't show anything on the screen and not recording. I had the game freeze while I was showing a replay. I had a HDCP protection error, which, by the way, if you don't know what that is, Android has built-in protection to stop you from recording. And I use a HDMI splitter to bypass that that built-in protection. That's how I record. So it's not illegal or anything like that, but it's sort of like one of those things where it's like you don't talk about it, but everyone sort of does it. So yeah, for whatever reason I was getting those errors, and I'm not sure whether there was like power wasn't getting to like the connector I put into my phone, because I have a micro USB to HDMI converter that goes from my phone to my HDMI cable, which goes into my capture card. No idea why I'm telling you how I record, but anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. These were 3 very crazy hits. I don't know how long it's going to be before I can show you something else that crazy, but miraculously I spawned a bunch of really hard bases, and it just sort of fell in my lap that I was able to just destroy them. And I was like, it just made for a pretty cool video. So I hope you guys enjoy it. If you did, smack the thumbs up button, tell me what you thought in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.